Welcome to the High Beach. This is Hayes Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. Today, we're going to talk about All in Texas this Saturday. Let's get straight into it with our predictions. We're going to start off with the tag team championship match of the Hurt Syndicate. We Heard People versus Jet Speed versus the Patriarchy. I think it's pretty cut and clear for me. The most over team and faction right now is the Hurt Syndicate, so I think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to be the ones to leave. Still your tag team champions. Why? Because we heard people. We heard people. Next, we're going to talk about a TNT championship match. Adam Cole, baby, versus Kyle Fletcher. Look, I love Adam Cole. He's had that championship since, April? I think Adam Cole is above the TNT championship. I think they've been trying to truly build up Kyle Fletcher, which I think they've been doing a pretty solid job of. I think it's time for Kyle to get a big W and championship. Why not this weekend at All In? And I do believe he will become your new TNT champion, while Adam Cole will move on to bigger and better things. Next, we have the tag team matchup that has a lot of consequences. We have Swerve when I drive, and I 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 with Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. If the Young Bucks lose, they are no longer EVPs, as well as if Swerve and Will Ospreay lose, they will not be able to challenge for a world title within a year. So this, I think, has become a very intriguing tag team match to where you could possibly say whoever wins this could give away who's going to win the main event. Not so much. I think at first I was like, well, I can't see Swerve and Ospreay going a year without challenging for the title. But then I'm like, in terms of a story, I think that's the best thing to do. Yeah, the EVPs, it's in name, in theory, but like, who cares if the Young Bucks can no longer be EVPs? Like, it doesn't really change anything, really. But to see Swerve and Ospreay, to see the dynamics of them go probably in two different directions, Swerve and Ospreay, I think, will lose this matchup by shenanigans of returning Jack Perry, probably, or something of that nature. Or Ospreay will keep his eye off the ball, get his eye off the ball. And I do predict Ospreay will take the pin, which will eventually cause Swerve to turn heel. Meanwhile, Ospreay will become even more determined to eventually get to that title, probably next year and All in London. I think they have to have Swerve and Ospreay lose now to see how different Swerve and Ospreay's characters turn. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. Even though I do not care for the Young Bucks, storyline wise, I think that's where they're going to go. Next, we have the Casino Gauntlet match for the women, and I don't know all the women that's going to be in here. I don't think they've been announced, but my winner is pretty clear cut and dry. I think it has to be a woman that has been putting the work in, that has been overlooked over the past year or so. It's in Texas. Why not give it to anybody but the person that is billed from Texas in Athena? I still feel a way about her losing to Mercedes Moné clean at the Dynamite a month or so ago. I think they should have just did a no contest. I don't see why they had to beat Athena, who was on a 2-year run of being undefeated. I don't see the purpose in that. If anything, I think Athena should have beaten Mercedes. Maybe not clean, but maybe in a ladder match, something to where Mercedes doesn't have to take a pin or be submitted. But it is what it is now. Nothing we can do about that. But I think it's Athena's time. I think eventually Athena will be able to go after that AEW World Championship and become AEW Women's Champion. So I think she is next up to eventually be in the main event scene on the women's side. So I gotta go with Athena. I think that is the right call as of right now. Since we're talking about the Casino Gauntlet match, let's talk about the men's Gauntlet match, which will have, we know as of right now, MJF, Mark Briscoe, Mystico, and some others. I know a lot of people are predicting for Darby Allin to come in here and win it. That sounds cool, but I look at the Casino Gauntlet just like I do Money in the Bank. It works much better for a heel to win it. So in my opinion, I don't see the purpose of Darby Allin after being gone for some months now to come in and win that. If he ever does become world champion, which I think will happen eventually one day, he needs to climb a mountain in order to do it. So I think him just getting into a match and winning a number one contendership, that's not Darby Allin's character to be able to do that. So I think there's only one clear winner. It has to be MJF. MJF is with the Hurt Syndicate. I think it would be great storytelling for MJF to get that Casino Gauntlet and do what he did 3 years ago. However, now he's with a faction to where you might have some power dynamics between him and Bobby Lashley, who also wants to eventually become world champion as well. I think you could tell a great story with that. But yeah, I think MJF is the best call, and I do predict that MJF will walk out as the winner in this match. Next, we have the Unified Championship. Omega versus Okada 5. One of the greatest rivalries of all time. I don't remember who won. It's been so long since I watched those matches. I can't remember who has the win advantage. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I think the best route to go here is to give Okada that big fat dub over Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega doesn't need the win. He's already over. And I think where they're going to go, Okada makes the most sense to get that Unified Championship. So that's what I'm going with, and that's who I think is going to win it, the Rainmaker himself. Next, we have the AEW Women's World Championship match. Timeless Toni Storm, darling, versus Mercedes Moné. This is one of my most anticipated matchups I would say in a very long time. In any promotion, this could potentially be one of the best women's matches of all time. The build has been cool, but I think it's mostly just the character work of both women. And we know when it comes to in-ring, they're going to bring their all. I see a lot of people kind of torn on who's going to win. To me, I think it's really easy. I see no benefit of one particular woman leaving Texas without all the belts. Yeah, I have Mercedes Moné defeating Timeless Toni Storm to be the ultimate belt collector and get all the belts, which I do not like that gimmick of being a belt collector. There's two things that really annoy me. Someone that collects belts and someone who is undefeated, which Mercedes is actually both. Because it hinders the division. When you have someone that is beating everyone, it hinders a division. Even with Roman Reigns with his long 4-year title reign, it hindered characters and hindered stories because he has to be the final boss. Therefore, there are people that can never reach a certain level because they can never win the title. So I think undefeated streaks and belt collecting gimmicks does hurt. However, if we're talking about just for right now, Toni Storm loses nothing in losing the AEW World Championship. She's so great. I haven't seen somebody committed to a character like this since Bray Wyatt. She reminded me so much of a Bray Wyatt who was so much must watch anytime they were on the TV screen. I think Toni Storm will be completely fine. She will eventually get that title back sometime, probably next year. But it's Mercedes' time. She's undefeated. She's the ultimate belt collector. This is all going to set up whoever is going to beat her for that world title. Now, it could be Athena. It could be somebody else. But as of right now, yeah, Mercedes is the woman. And need I remind you that some people that feel like she's Mercedes, Hogan, all that. Need I remind you that she was never properly pushed as the woman in WWE. It was always Charlotte, and after Charlotte, it was Becky. Even though Bayley and Sasha were the two best women in that division. I stand 10 toes down on that. That division was Sasha and Bayley, but they decided to go with Charlotte and Becky, which they're great as well, but you could have had all four be the top women. Instead, they made up their mind who would be the dominant female. So it is what it is. But Mercedes, she's done a great job betting on herself after she quit on the WWE shortly after WrestleMania 38. She bettered herself. She reinvented herself, and I love what she's done. And if anybody deserves this, it's her. I can't wait to see what she does with this. I hate that she has all the belts because none of the belts matter. Like her having the belts are just ornaments. They're just props. They don't really mean anything. But I am intrigued to see where they should go from here. Who will be the one to defeat her for that title? Probably no time soon. Probably she won't lose those belts or the most important, the women's world title belt, till probably Double or Nothing next year. So it should be intriguing. But yeah, I think Mercedes beats Thomas Toni Storm and will have one of the best matches of the year. That I'm also predicting. Next, we have the AEW World Championship match of Jon Moxley versus Adam Hangman Page in a Texas Death Match. Jon Moxley, who has been champion since late last year, or since the fall of last year after defeating Bryan Danielson with the Death Riders. And I feel like a lot of people think it's going to be a foregone conclusion that we finally going to end the Death Rider storyline and have Hangman Page defeat Jon Moxley for the World Championship. And you know what? I think everybody is right. I think this is the perfect time to end this Death Rider storyline. I think we do get, just like WrestleMania 40, an Avengers Endgame situation to where everybody comes out, the Young Bucks come out, Swerve and Hangman come out to take out the Young Bucks. I think it is great storytelling with Swerve and Ospreay sacrificing their year to go after the world title. Just like in the Avengers, you have to sacrifice something in order to get to the ultimate goal. Which again, I think the storytelling of Swerve eventually being so pissed that eventually he will cost Hangman the title. I think that will be great to see. But I think also you prevent Hangman from going against Ospreay and Swerve during his title reign. Meanwhile, you're going to have the Death Riders come in. You're going to have the Ops come in. But I think the ultimate factor, even Bryan Danielson, I do see coming back for a great moment. But I think the ultimate deciding factor, the Seth Rollins of this end game for All In for the Death Riders, is going to be Darby Allin. He's going to be the one to pop up at the very end, costing Jon Moxley the title to do what he couldn't do with Bryan Danielson last year. And he is going to be the guy to help Adam Hangman Page become your new AEW World Champion. I do love what Adam Hangman Page has done with his character. He's added an edge to him. He has evolved. And I'm not going to lie, his first title reign was a great moment, but I feel like he was very bland as a character. Now he will feel like a proper world champion that is intriguing, that has dimensions to him. It has been through the fire. So I think this is the proper time. All In should be their WrestleMania, and there should be feel-good moments, at least for the first 5-7 years. Now, after that, you can start doing whatever. But at least for the first 5 years, have All In end with the great big moment. And plus, I feel like Adam Hangman Page will go on to probably face Okada at Forbidden Door to set that up, which will even be a big matchup now. Possibly putting all the belts on line, however you want to do that. But I think we end All In on a high note, and they will steal and take the weekend, as AEW are now the underdogs again, because WWE has been the big bad boss, the big bad capitalist corporation that has made AEW baby faces again, which I gotta give to AEW. I lost hope last year. I think they're going back into the right direction, so I'm rooting for AEW. I'm rooting for all promotions, but I'm really rooting for AEW to get this right. And I do think, like I said, we will end the weekend with talking about how great that AEW All In pay-per-view was. So we'll see. Those are my predictions. Let me know your thoughts, who you think will leave, winners or losers. Like, comment, subscribe, share all the things, do the things. Welcome to the high beach. There's Hayes Arcade, your hardcore casual fan. If you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.